Hello everyone, this is Lloyd from Bizzfo. In this tutorial I want to give you a bit of an overview of our stock movement report and how that works. So I'm going to take you through a few practical exercises. I'm going to go to the movement report. It's situated under inventory, but you can also, if you go on your normal stock count, you'll also find it over there. You'll find your stock movement. Now, important thing about the stock movement is it is all based on opening and closing stock takes. So it's based on actual counts. We don't do any theoretical counts or any snapshots. It's just simply creating too much confusion. So you want to spring jump from a point where you have an actual count you have a signature for it and it's been verified. And between those points, you actually want to see what your stock is doing and moving. So let's quickly start. I'm going to run through this. There's multiple tutorials on the individual components. So for now, I'm just going to jump through it to focus on or getting some data into our stock movement. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new stock take. On the stock take, let's just go start, create a stock take, yes. I'm going to select all the items. I've got a bunch of test items here. Clicking add and let's go back. There we go. I've got a bunch of items sitting over here. Now, this one, I'm going to work with a bun. Let me just take bun back up to, let's say, 15. And I'm going to click on process. Okay, the rest I'm leaving as is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some movement going. So we know it's sitting on 15. Let's go to a new invoice. Let's try Lloyd. Yeah. Let's go to bun. And bun. Here we go, and it's 15, so let's take 5 out, so it should be at 10. Finalize. Okay, that's quite simple. And then what we are going to do, let's have a look. I'm going to do a branch transfer as well. So I'm going to go to inventory, and I'm going to do inter-branch transfer, just to show you that movement. So let's start the transfer. I'm going to say branch 1 is sending to branch 2. And what we're going to do is do the bun as well. I'm only going to focus on the bun for now, so let's add that one. Okay, perfect. So we are sitting on 10, so let's take 5 out. We're moving 5 out. Process, yes. All right, good. And just reading the screen, we've got processed branch 1 and branch 2 is pending. So I'm just going to process this as well, just to make sure it is received at branch 2. Because what I want to do is I'm going to transfer back as well. Okay, so that's accepted. So if you read the screen, processed branch 1, branch 2 processed. So let's do another one and let's get some stock back. So branch 2 is sending back to branch 1. And we've got a bun. So let's send that back. So let's take 3 out. Okay, and then again, I'm just going to accept it as well. So you can see branch 2 is processed, pending branch 1. So let's just receive that one back. Okay. All right, perfect. So I've got a screen open with the branch movement. Let's just go to this filter. And for this screen, you can refresh your filters on the specific stock takes. It will be today's date. So it should be listed here. Okay, perfect. So you'll notice there's the branch transfers that I've done, but I'm interested in the opening stock take. I can select the closing one, but I just want to leave it open for now. So we don't have an end date as of yet. So let's click on the refresh and let's focus on our bun. So we know we started at 15. We transferred 5 out. We brought 3 back, and the total would be the total variance would then be 2. And then we also sold 5. We took 5 out and the theoretical value is sitting at 8. Now important is the actual stock count. This is based on the closing stock value, but it's not done yet. That's why we've got a variance, because there's no actual stock count done. So the system is waiting to calculate the variance. All right, good. So let's go over to supplier invoice. What is the theoretical? Theoretical is sitting at 8. So let's receive 4. Let's go back to inventory. Let's go to supply invoice and Bizzfo. Okay, good. And let's go to bun again. And let's go, yeah, let's do 4, doesn't matter. And we're completing the invoice. All right, so last thing I want to do before closing that off is let's go back to our stock takes, stock count. And then I want to show you, let's start a new one, the different variations. So we've got a stock take, which is actually setting the count. And then we've got consumption, write-off, damaged, and leftover, depending on your operational workflow. So let's say we've got consumption. What's important to note is you'll see the label has changed. It's saying remove or adjust out. So you want to put the quantity that you're going to remove. So let's go and search for an item. And let's go back to our infamous bun. We've got in stock 12, and we'll calculate that now. And let's add one. And then let's remove 2 of them. So I'm just going to simply say 2 has been adjusted out. Process, yes. And maybe just for example, we can also say we have got leftovers, we're chicken shop, and there's some leftovers, and we want to write off another one. Okay, I'm taking bun. There we go. And I'm going to take 1. And I'm going to say process. What I am going to do now as well is, if I do the stock take now, it's going to balance, but I just want to show you what's going to happen if I do stock take. And on the stock take, we are expecting the bun balance to be 9, but I'm just going to make that 8. I just want to get a variance into the system. So let's select all of these. And then here I'm going to do, let's make it 8. And we're going to process this one as well. I'll show you a method behind the madness now. So jumping over to the movement report, let's just focus on the bun. We started with 15. We added 4 for our purchases. We've added 3 back in, and we took 5 out. The total of the total purchases is 2. Then we've got -1 for the leftovers. We've got -1 for the consumption, and then we sold 5. And if you tally all of that up, we're sitting at a theoretical balance of 9. Now again, the actual stock take is showing 0, and that's because we haven't selected the ending stock take. So let me select one and click on refresh. And now we see something interesting. So the system has calculated that we should have 9 based on everything on the left-hand side of the column. But remember, we did the one stock take and we actually reduced the value. So we had 1 loss in the system. So the closing is 8, and here we can see that as per calculation we were expecting 9, and the -1 is sitting on the adjustment, and that's where you can see that. Maybe just if I can show you, these columns are just based on value, quantity and value, and branch summary. If we go to value, the columns are totaled up. So if you do a starting stock take at the beginning of the month and end of the month, you'll have a nice way to actually see what is the variance amount that you have lost. So there's missing R3.29. So just maybe closing off the screen on the stock takes. So again, if I go to stock count, just to refresh the view, we always start on this view, and then we can go to these different reports. So if I just want to view the consumption report, I can do that. Or if I want to view all the movement, and you'll notice on the far right hand side we've got the different classifications. So if I click on consumption, it gives me the summarized value, but I can go and click on this one to see the actual detail, and that will give me the detail of what has happened on the specific report. Let's take the stock take. It's got a bit more information, and there we go. It basically groups it per category, which you can minimize if you like. And we can see through this that the variance is actually sitting on the ingredient part. That's where the variance is. Guys, so I hope that clears up this stock take or the stock movement. What is very important is you must use your movement report with opening and closing balances to calculate your variance. If you are simply going and viewing your detail to view variances, you are going to have problems, because notice this column. This is a theoretical quantity based on what the system is calculating. So only once you have counted your stock will your variance become true and actual. And this is very important. And the only way to see that is through the actual movement report. So please include this in your process. Don't simply stop at looking at these variances and looking at this detail. Rather go and select your starting and ending and click on your refresh and view that. It's quite critical. If you're not currently doing stock takes, there's actually no true way to understand what your losses are, and yeah, it's quite a bad practice. So guys, I hope that helps to clear up a little bit of how to use and view some of the movement that's happening on your Hive. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop a mail or contact your support team. They will be glad to help.